This next chapter is about healthy self-esteem, and it's called You Cannot Love from Above or Below. So if you're filled with shame, like please love me, I'm worthless, or grandiosity, I have power over you, I can control you, I'm better than you, no love is possible. And I'm not going to give this example because it's a typical example of a grandiose man. And I don't want the guys going, oh, the woman can get everything. Because here is actually the thing, when you have a grandiose man, you also have a woman who isn't using her voice and is acquiescing. And in a lot of couples, sometimes you have two people who are fighting, but often you will have one person who is in the controlling position, and one person who's in the weaker position. And so the therapist in this relational life therapy coaching takes sides. You want to bring the weaker person up, but you also have to deflate this person. And so I'm not going to give this example because I don't want to trigger the men, but basically the concept is that often people are modeling, let's talk about this, they're modeling their parent, that even though they don't want to be that parent, they didn't like how that parent behaved, they felt closest to that parent. And what is the way? So it was that when Terry says, when I'm dealing with someone in their you and me, adaptive child consciousness, like rage, quiet resentment, or angry pursuit, have you done any of these? I always think of them relationally. What is this adaptive child adapting to? Okay, are they reacting to something or are they modeling something? And unconsciously, we can model ways of being in the world that we consciously despise. So get this. I can teach you how to be close to a parent who has zero capacity to be close to you. You can get nothing from them, yet you can still feel close to them. How do you do that? This client asks. Be like them, I tell this client. Live in their world with them. Live, in this case, in an angry, grandiose, self-indulgent world where ego is king. And so in this therapy, this person just got it, made the implicit explicit, and this client was like, oh my God, I do not want to be that person. I love my family, and I do not want to be like my father. And he just immediately came down off his grandiosity. And then what happened? This was what happens apparently to a lot of grandiose people. Grandiosity is difficult to treat in therapy. It's easier to get a grandiose man to come down than a grandiose woman. Grandiose women are very hard to treat, from what I've read. So what happened with this person, I guess I'm going to say it was the man, okay? For the purpose of the story, okay, guys, you're just going to have to get along with this. You have to know that he was just copying his dad that he loved. He wasn't a bad person. And he wants to have a closer relationship with his family. Leaving the grandiose relational stance behind often means separating from the early relationship in which the stance was embedded. Here is how you can tell if a child is enmeshed with their parent, because they will report that as a child, they felt sorry for the parent. Children aren't supposed to feel sorry for their parents, I tell Bruce. Parents are supposed to be big enough to take care of themselves. Now, a thing about grandiosity, it feels really good to be grandiose because it feels good to let go of constraint and scream at your kids or make out with a colleague. It feels good, but it may just ruin your life. You have to think yourself down from grandiosity, okay? Now, what happened with Bruce is once he left the office, he realized how grandiose he'd been. He went the other way and he fell into a deep pit of shame where he didn't want to come out of bed for weeks. He started feeling all this guilt when he saw how much he'd hurt his whole family. However, this is just another form of preoccupation. When a client shifts from shamelessness to toxic shame, they move from one form of self-preoccupation to another. You're still preoccupied with yourself, even if you're telling yourself you're a terrible person. While shame is all about you, guilt focuses your energy on the person you hurt. So it doesn't help to keep you rating yourself. Okay, you have to be accountable to the person you hurt. I'm sorry I hurt you. What can I do to help you feel better? So that's what a family person does. You have to focus on the family, and that's one reason I'm such a big believer that I only want to date men who have been a family man, because it expands you like nothing else does. Nothing against you if you're not. I'm just saying what I prefer, because you have to get used to giving. You have to learn to be humble. And you have to learn to be giving when you don't want to be giving. So anyway, and then after that, that was the last he saw of Bruce and his wife, because he just started, you know, get the book to see how they made up. It's very heartwarming. Like, I start tearing up, but that was the gist of chapter 6, is you cannot love from above grandiosity or below shame. You have to have a healthy self-esteem. And sometimes people don't know how to get there, and that's why a good therapist is so helpful. And I didn't keep my word. I went over 5 minutes to 6 minutes. Yikes.